And welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. Orion Pirates Mod. I'm Fleet Admiral Mirak of the heavy battle cruiser GCS Dracora. I will get that out properly. As we continue our campaign against the Klingon Star Empire, and last time, well, we are now sieging the planet of 5-9, which just so happens to be Kronos. We've also captured a couple of planets and stations up north up here, so we have a little bit of a better stronghold at the moment. Hopefully we'll be able to keep within Klingon territory and not get forced out too much. So without further ado, let us set out into space and see if we can't complete our little encirclement. Straight-up scouting mission to begin with is a perfect way to start the day. If everything actually goes completely sideways, we can always just scan and run. I do kind of anticipate scanning and killing, though. And it's a light cruiser. Okay, we're going to scan and kill. Plasma torpedoes to enveloping mode, and then we can do a speed of 4 at the moment. And we'll just increase the speed of time. We'll also go and prepare our tractor beam, the device that will allow us to hit with every single one of our plasma torpedoes in an absolutely terrifying display of total terror of the fourth state of matter. Yes, that's an incredibly dramatic way of saying things, but you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Let's go sap our shield budget so we can actually get to the enemy in a little bit of time. After all, they're not exactly going to be able to stop us, so we're going to go kick some butt. Yeah, so recently, yesterday actually, when this actually goes up, we will have had our stream for the TNG mod and shown off all of the stuff in it. If you're interested in that sort of thing, I highly suggest you go check out the VOD, or VOD, depending on how you want to say it, as we went through, well, we actually started a Federation campaign, which showed off the Dominion refit class, Constitution class, quite beautifully. And then about halfway through the stream, we end up switching over to just using skirmish mode to show off the various ships. It's still very work in progress. We're still very early on in the process. But if you want to go check it out, go see it, and then maybe get involved if you want to. If you want to be heavily involved in it, there is a link down in the description of this video, and should be all videos from a couple of days moving forward, to our Discord if you want to get involved. We have a channel for Starfleet Command where you can put forth any ideas that you may have about what sorts of things to include in the mod, or if you have, you know, models that are compatible with the game. That would be awesome, because part of the biggest hurdle in making this mod come together is finding all the models. It is a little bit challenging at times. But yeah, that's what we're doing on Wednesdays. At this point, Wednesdays is just going to be probably a mod update stream, just to mess around in our TNG mod until we get everything going. It is going to be separated into 2 to potentially 3 phases. Phase 1 is what we're doing right now, in that we are basically just going through with a visual upgrade to the game, changing everything to TNG and that sort of thing. Phase 2 will be a ship list from scratch, which is a daunting task, to say the least, because you have to understand that Orion Pirates Plus has about 500 ships per faction. So when you stop to think about that and realize that you now need to do something similar for TNG era style ships, things get a little bit terrifying. And then stage 3/2.5, depending on how you want to sort of count things, will end up being going through, and it's going to be called Orion Pirates Extended, if you want to be super fancy about things. And in that, we will be going and basically taking the entirety of the TNG mod and plopping it onto the end of the tech tree for Orion Pirates. And that'll be the most ambitious thing. And I kind of am really looking forward to seeing how that'll turn out. That's going to be literally years down the line, but that's sort of like the projected idea. Now, we're not going to kill ourselves to make this mod. After all, the game came out in 2001, so I kind of doubt that the player population is going to be gigantic for it. But yeah, if you want to help out, if you think you have any sort of knowledge or anything like that, feel free to drop by the Discord, and yeah. It's going to be a fan project, to be sure, and nothing too crazy. So hopefully, no cease and desist. Although I doubt that they would care about a mod for Starfleet Command. But enough about stuff that is not the current campaign. We have already completely and brutally annihilated the first heavy cruiser that we've actually run across. The second heavy cruiser is proving to be a little bit more difficult. He's staying in our stern aspect. Lucky for us, we have more than enough shields to handle this. But right now, we're not really charging our plasma torpedoes at a super efficient rate, so we're just kind of chilling here. That's Scatterback? That's Scatterback. Look at the D-type plasma torpedo getting fully in on the action on that one. If you're going to show me that weak shield, I'm going to strip it away from you. You only get to have it if you play nice with it. So we've got 2 of our S-type plasma torpedoes charged, and wow, that was not the intention, I'll be completely honest. Did I forget? Oh, yeah, I did forget to scan that last one. So also didn't mean to fire that, but it did bait out the Wild Weasel. So there's that going for us. What I can do with that, though, is I can slow right on down. And I'm really tempted to just do a high energy trim, see if I can get on top of him. You got a G2C. Are you able to take him? You should be. And the Warbride is more than capable of handling that. I assume he's got an R-type plasma torpedo and 4 additional missile launchers, 2 of which shoot twice every turn. If he can't handle it, then maybe he's got a serious problem. We'll lob out another enveloping plasma torpedo. It should hurt him quite nicely. Ooh, we got another shuttle, which is probably a scatterpack. No, never mind. That's the remains of his Wild Weasel. They stick around for a while. Ooh, ESG, point blank range. Managed to weaken my forward shield. Excellent job there. Although I think that you may have a slight weakness now at this point. So he's mostly been mauled. He doesn't really have a whole heck of a lot going for him anymore. And I think, just maybe, that plasma torpedo might finish him off. We were right. On to the G2C, which is currently kicking the crap out of the Warbride, and I don't know how. No, seriously, Warbride, you should be annihilating him. He's got, what, your missile armament? Less than your missile. Oh, never mind. Apparently he's getting the crap kicked out of him instead. So the Ruthless ain't long for this world, especially if the Warbride can come in here and finish this off. I'm just going to finish him off with the phasers if I get within range. If the Warbride doesn't do it first. The Warbride kind of should do it first. I got him. Alright, on to the asteroid base. The asteroid base, of course, brought to you by Mattel. We're going to... 10 points of power is fine. We're going to sap most of that so we can just get on here as soon as we possibly can. Our entire complement of plasma torpedoes, I do actually believe, is capable of wiping out the asteroid base in one shot. Which is something I would remind you that not even the King Condor could do. So, yeah, the heavy bombardment cruisers for the 2 plasma races are ridiculous. There are 2 plasma races. The ISC is only sort of half plasma. They use it a lot, they just don't use R-type plasma torpedoes. They use PPDs instead, which I will argue that PPDs are a more fun weapon, but they're not as big as plasma. So yeah, if the Romulan heavy bombardment cruiser is anything like this, then I have seriously misjudged the Romulan X-type heavy cruiser line, because I have stated categorically in the past that I believe that the Romulan X-type heavy cruiser line was trash and a complete waste of time. If they get a bombardment cruiser equipped like this, it's not. Because the amount of damage it deals is absurd. So we've managed to quite severely damage that. He's not shooting back, which... Oh, now he's shooting back. Let's hopefully my plasma torpedoes can get all charged in time. We've only got 28 points of power on the forward shield. He has 4 phaser force, which could cut through that, you know, like cutting a cake. But hopefully he'll survive enough and he'll just roll low. Got some plasma torpedoes coming in from the Warbride, and... it did quite a bit of damage, actually. This will finish off. Had we been closer with our initial salvo, it would have killed him in one shot, but I suppose we had to wait for that one because we decided to be safe about it and fire from well beyond close range, because close range is not a safe place to be. Alright, so an asteroid base completely wiped out. Hopefully the pirates slash Klingon slash whoever is actually working here will not bother saying, oh, we had 2 of the best nebulas in the background and I didn't even compliment on them. Oh, should have done that. So a little bit more pressure going down. Kronos is down to 276. It looks like our friends, the Hydrants, have started coming around. I should start working on encircling this base, shouldn't I? Because if I can encircle Kronos, I can restrict its influence and make it so it has to basically dig itself out before connecting hurt anybody. Is that seriously it? What was this? Oh, it's a Klingon shipyard. But probe? Find out soon if that is it, because if that's it, might not be worth getting up in the morning. Enveloping plasma torpedoes. Send a probe. Yeah, that's it. It's literally just a freighter. Wow. I think either somebody screwed up or we have been bleeding the Klingons dry. And to be honest, I wouldn't actually be surprised if we're bleeding the Klingons dry. Given the number of Klingon B-11 super battleships that we ended up having to fight early on in this campaign, I mean, that actually just makes sense. Alright, so let's overload the weapon systems. We're going to hit him with all the phasers and see if that'll do it. I prefer not to fire the plasma torpedoes because they take forever to charge. So if I can get a range of 0 on Avenger over here, we might have a little bit of fun. You know what? That should be just about close enough. You're going to hit me with that. Wow, good job. You killed him with mines. The worst way to win a war. How dare you, sir. Give me a target on one of these things and just increase the speed of time, because this Stardocks are not going to be this a challenge. Actually, take a peek to the side. That tells us LFRDs. They're Lyran Stardocks. Oh, how sad for you. So Lyra and Stardock is not going to give us any challenge. As long as we stay outside of a range of 3.9, it literally can't touch us. The AI will not use it at maximum range anyway. So yeah, Stardock's be gone. They're just not going to survive what we're about to do to them. We're going to fire a plasma torpedo initially to sort of just bait out more stuff. Start to slow down. There's one plasma torpedo. Oh look, he must defend against it. Wait, he didn't. He fired. You fool. I mean, he activated his weapon systems after he... Yeah, he activated his weapon systems after he dumped the Wild Weasel, which means that the Wild Weasel was immediately cancelled, and our plasma torpedo then went right into him and blew him into little tiny pieces. That was not his finest hour. So the first of the Stardocks is down. We've got 2 more to actually wipe out, and then we'll be completely done out here. And once that's handled, all things will be good and golden. S-type plasma torpedo is in range. Although, we are waiting for our Rs to come online. Well, it should take a little while for all of the torpedoes. There we go. Oh, they started to move off in the wrong direction for a moment. I was getting a little bit worried. Not too worried. I mean, I kind of understand how the weapon systems work. We play this game for a reason, people. How much power do I have? Steal it all. Steal all the shield budget. This is the longest trip between. Really, the fastest, most efficient way to do this is to go to the one that we just blew up and then sort of move your way up through the rest of them. That way you can just easily handle them all. This is too far, so it's less efficient to go this way. Ah, the efficiency of how to kill Stardocks. What a fascinating thing to be discussing. Okay, slow way down. In fact, you can just park. Because you're not going to be fighting anymore. If you get much closer, yeah, we're going to crash stop.
Stop.
3, 2, please do not touch that. Don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it! Well, I feel sheepish. Okay, we gotta do this the hard way. Well, they could probably take care of it, actually. I fired too early. I was too used to playing at maximum speed, and I was already reduced in speed. And that's what led to that particularly embarrassing conundrum. So he's down to almost dead. Hang on, this will take just a moment. There we go. You saw nothing. The plasma torpedo hit. You saw the torpedo hit the hull and explode. And I was never here. So, Kronos has been bombarded once again, as you would expect from a heavy bombardment cruiser. The Klingons cannot stand against our mighty might, and they're down to an Empire defense of 71. Let's start going for an encirclement. A nice, safe, fun little encirclement, although the amount of people that we had to get through in order to get here, the impedance in this sector seemed to be quite a lot. We're up to 11,003 prestige. With just a little bit more, we would have enough to buy 2 more heavy bombardment cruisers, which would be a lot of fun. Just the amount of firepower that we can dish out. And we're being escorted today by the Enigma, which is a Orion Pirate frigate, and the Misty, which is also an Orion Pirate frigate. And our enemy is a... Are you an alphabet soup? Close enough. He's an HF5-1X. So, yeah, good enough to be an alphabet soup destroyer. Designed with you in mind. Let's go pack up the forward shield 2 max memory enforcements and prepare ourselves. Tractor beam as soon as that is charged, so we're not... Ooh, there's an F5T. The difference, it doesn't really matter if we're completely honest. We'll take the Heavy 5. The Heavy 5 first, and then we'll go wipe out his buddy. He won't be able to stop us. We have numbers on our side and plasma. So plasma kind of is a little bit of a decisive factor in many things about this game. Especially if you can hook onto someone and just plasma anchor them. You know, any human player worth their salt would expect exactly what I'm about to do to this guy. And he would respond accordingly. Oh, did you seriously? Seriously. He used a scatter pack. What a foolish maneuver, sir. An F5T is a transport F5, so as you can see, he's got no weapons on board. He's basically a freighter. He's a glorified freighter who honestly doesn't really deserve to exist at this moment. Dude, you came into the wrong battle. Although, to be fair, we're not going to have our plasma torpedoes ready in time to actually fight him, so we'll have to use phasers on overload mode. And able to knife through his shields. He is coming back, which could mean if he maneuvers a couple more times like that, he'll actually lose that race against the missile. Fortunately for us, however, the Gatling phasers were more than capable of catching him, and he has been eliminated. So successful patrol. We're just kind of sort of work our way between Kronos and the outer... I can't call them the outer rim planets because there's no planets there, but the outer sectors around it. Once we get Kronos fully encircled within our grasp, we can just bombard the Klingon homeworld at our leisure. Like potentially now? Not potentially now, but we'll pass on through. Go for a holding action. Because why not? I mean, a holding action can be a lot of fun, or it can be just you sprint through the enemy to make sure they can't touch you.
Prepare
Let's go find out which one. We're dealing with an HF5E1, don't care, a light cruiser, which is an X-type vessel, and a heavy cruiser, which is a DXD, which means it's a D5, I believe, right? No, it's not, actually. It is just a DXD. So a drone heavy cruiser with a capital X refit. Fascinating. I care more about the XDG. I'll be completely honest with you. If you're an X ship, you have a target painted on you. Why? You are incredibly dangerous. Don't believe me? Look at this entire campaign since we've got this ship, and look how drastically things have changed for us. We went from struggling in our dreadnoughts to basically flying on top of somebody and annihilating them. And to be fair, the DNT that we used to fly could do a similar thing, but the amount of damage that we just dish out is ridiculous, and we back it up with 10 phaser X's and 2 phaser G's. We just have more firepower than we know what to do with. Oh, you already used your wild weasel. Oh, that's adorable. You're dead. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. I'll stop saying it. Goodbye. Nice to know you. Gone. Our buddy is the Salo, and the Salo is... Wait, are you a battleship? No, it's a DNX. Okay. Oh, it's only got a single R-type plasma torpedo. It's got a fairly significant amount of firepower. So I was concerned for a moment. Next target, of course, is that heavy cruiser. We'll slow way down so we can charge up our systems by the time they actually reach us. Not concerned about the frigate. The DXD, however, could be a little bit dangerous. The DN, as you can see, was slightly vulnerable to incoming missile fire. Wasn't actually capable of really handling it all that well. And so it had to basically sacrifice all of its initiative in a vain attempt to avoid damage. Now, it's also massive and slow, which means that the enemy was able to hit it anyway because it waited until close range to trick the AI. So the AI, in fact, tricked the AI. Wait for it, because he's just killed himself. 3, 2, 1, goodbye! This is such a great feeling. After spending so long with being in a situation where we just simply could not handle people, where getting into a fight with them was just not a useful option. The fact that we can just get on top of somebody now with so many phasers and back that up with so many plasma torpedoes, it's just incredibly entertaining. We do have no forward shield at the moment, which is a little bit of a concern. Not incredibly so, but, I mean, we do need something. Oh, actually we don't. The armor took care of it all. Alright, on to the listening post. Maximum speed and, you know, green alert. Maximum power. We actually don't need to go to green alert to get maximum power, although we cannot overcharge all of our plasma torpedoes and go to maximum power. That is a mild restriction on our vessel, so we have to sort of keep that in mind as we travel through the enemy and annihilate everybody. So we're going to go ping the listening post and move on from there. Unfortunately, because we chose to, in fact, annihilate everybody for the bonus prestige, we're going to have to scan the listening post and then leave the map on our own. So, zoom. Goodbye. I have to admit, though, the Gorn X-type heavy cruiser, although it's not as terrible looking as other Gorn heavy cruisers, it's not as cool as the Gorn destroyer. The Gorn destroyers are pretty badass for Gorn ships. To be fair, most Gorn vessels are really underwhelming, mainly because in this version of the mod they decided to be very true to tabletop, which basically means every single Gorn ship looks the same, just in a different size. Which, I'm gonna be honest, a little disappointing. I love unit model variety. It's actually one of the reasons why I started playing Starfleet Command Orion Pirates Plus mod rather than just Starfleet Command, because there was so many more ships, which is also something I'm slowly starting to regret having to deal with. If you've ever had to change as many models as we've had to in dealing with the TNG mod, you would understand. Although maybe you do already. I mean, it's entirely possible. I am new to the well, I'm not new to the world of mod making, but this is the first time I have made a mod. Before I've worked with mod teams and that sort of thing, mainly as like community support, but this will be the first time ever actually changing anything. Ah, beautiful planet. We're being escorted today by Determination, which I do believe is a dreadnought. Yeah, it's a Regent class, and you're an IRX the Exile. And we're squaring off against a heavy cruiser, which is a C7, which actually makes it a battle cruiser. So the battle cruisers are a lovely vessel. I'm quite a fan of them. I also kind of like the design. Although that design is going to have to change when we move into the TNG mod. I'm just not sure what it'll change into. Some people have suggested the Fort Shop, but I kind of want to make the Fort Shop the D7s. Just because they were supposed to replace the D7. Not quite sure on that. Also, he's got a friend over in the distance. Oh, here at DWD. So he's basically a D5 with an extra nacelle in a drone cruiser form. The C7 is more dangerous in my book. I could be wrong on that. I mean, he's got a whole ton of missiles. But the C7 actually has staying power to go alongside that, which, you know, makes him a bigger threat. Okay, let's kick on the speed. Otherwise, the Exile is going to get in here and take all of the glory. Zipping in there at just maximum speed as he knifes on through the formation. Has already opened up the enemy pretty nicely, actually. So whoever I choose to kill, well, whoever I choose to track to, we will kill. That is a guarantee. And in fact, what I can do here is one of those. One of those. You both did it. You dumb people. You both did it. Okay, we've dealt with that. Now we'll just wait for 3, 2, 1. All weapons fire. Yes, it's beautiful. Torn asunder. And then my phasers will lash out at him. Although I apparently have lost my forward shield. And I don't quite know where it went. It's very odd. I didn't think he could deal that much damage to me. So the fighter... Oh, you know! Oh, for some reason, apparently the mine that clearly looked to be in front of me appeared behind me, and thus I avoided any damage. The atrocity! Oh, the Klingons, you have such bold names, but you can't really back it up, can you? Well, to be fair, any race is going to have a trouble with a Gorn heavy bombardment cruiser. This ship is just insane. There's really very few ways to describe it other than that. Whoever decided that putting 4 S-type plasma torpedoes and 2 R-type plasma torpedoes on the same hull was a madman. And they should have increased his pay, because that was a genius move. The amount of firepower we dish out is just absurd. Like, we're going to bombard this planet with enough force in order to make anyone you care to name cry. And in fact, I'm going to increase our damage by making sure our ECCM is keeping up with their ECM. So their electronic countermeasures will be completely worthless against our powerful countermanding systems as it, you know, slowly charges up over the course of multiple turns. Or is it a single turn? It doesn't really matter. But yes, we will counteract their ECM, which removes their, whatchamacallit, thingamabob, who's what, removes their damage reduction that they gain. And it looks like they've already lost all of their shields. So we get to witness the full firepower of this operational heavy bombardment cruiser. We're just going to pull up nice and close to him and just unleash total, destructive, terrifying hell. Let's start to slow down before we actually hit this planet. If we ran into the planet on our heavy bombardment cruiser, that would probably be the height of embarrassment. So 3, 2, 1, unleash hell. 437 damage. How many Marines you got left? Oh, we're not in range. We're not in range. Oh, how silly of me. I didn't realize that we had already annihilated everybody on your planet in one salvo. Beautiful. Simply beautiful. And our 4 transporters are more than capable of overwhelming their 2 Marine boarding parties. So we'll just drift away and wait for our team to finish their job. And we have successfully laid Gorn commandos on Kronos. The Klingons will be helpless before our mighty reptilian power. They have surrendered to us. IKV Victory is apparently the name of the Kronos. So, yeah, that's a thing. That'll be a decent amount of prestige, 495, of course, and with it, even more pressure on them. Oh no, 670. Whoops. That'll be a 66 Empire defense. We just need to blitz this thing down to 0, so we're going to be here a while. It's a capital. You kind of expect that. We'll work on conquering all of these around. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see the notification every time I upload these videos, press the little bell icon. Leave a comment. And if you want to be involved in the TNG mod, go check out the Discord below so we can kind of talk to you. And I will see you all in the next episode.